Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another GSG Talk, another special. We've been having very special guests in the last 6 talk shows. This is number 6, if I'm correct. And we have, 1, 2, 3, yes. Anything over 5 overwhelms me, so I think this is the 6th one. We have with us Mr. Beta Units and Mr. IX Studios Cleveland. Not to be confused with IX Studios Chicago. How are you guys?
Doing good. Yeah, we don't talk about that Chicago guy.
That Chicago guy is for punks.
I'm not in the joke, but I'll laugh anyway.
That's fine. I'm not in the joke either. I have no idea.
This will be an entire hour of that, so strap in.
Get ready, kids. A whole bunch of stuff that you won't get.
That's okay. If the audience gets it, I'm happy. So the way every time we do this, we get a little protocol going. So let's do this. When I ask a question, let's start with Beta, and then let's go to IX Studio, so we don't step on each other's answers. So let's start by the beginning. How did you guys started streaming? What got you into streaming?
Streaming. I was in a really awesome band, and the band dissolved at a time where I was really just getting excited about it and getting really into it and making it a big part of my personality and my existence. So when this band dissolved, I was flailing. I didn't really have anything to ground me, and I really needed some musical direction. And I thought, well, why don't I start doing like some jams on Facebook? I didn't know anything about Twitch or anything, so I just started building a little live rig, and it took me like 10 months or a year or something like that, battling with depression and battling with other things, and then COVID happened and stuff like that. But eventually started streaming in like April of 2020.
Nice. How about you, IX?
Well, let's see here. It all began, as many stories did, with Bo Beats. Because he was all like Bo beating or something. I don't know. I'm an admin on his Discord, and there's a gentleman there named John Haynes who said, hey, you should check out the Golden Shrimp Guild. They're weird. They're up your alley. So I went on there, and then I went to NobCon and met the mysterious Dan Kushner, who is the person who made the Golden Shrimp Guild golden and shrimpy and guild-like. And he said, everyone should stream. You should stream. And I'm like, why would I want to stream? I have a great thing going on with my hiding in the basement, not talking to people. He's like, it's like that, but you can type. So yeah, that's all the inspiration I needed. So I've been doing that since 2019, and it kept me from losing my mind completely during COVID. And it's been an interesting, different creative outlet for me.
Every time a streamer starts to stream, they struggle with the logic of Twitch, as we all did. Do you guys remember how did you approach the first streams you did? What errors did you commit? What kind of things did you? What notions did you had in mind about things that were supposed to be one way and were the other way? Do you remember that?
Well, I mean, I can tell you at first I expected some of my friends to care, and that didn't happen. That was probably the biggest thing that went differently than I thought it would. I also kind of had the notion of most of the streams that I had seen before I started were basically just live streams from venues, from concerts. So in my head, I was playing a Beta Units concert and people were coming to watch and chat about it or whatever. And I didn't think about the interactive side of things. I didn't think about the community being able to like have a back and forth between your viewers. And I also didn't think about having so many other creative people show up. So that was a real happy surprise.
Nice.
Definitely. I think that's I had the similar kind of thing where my big thing was like I didn't quite understand what my approach or style was going to be. So I decided in the early times for Twitch that I was going to do something completely different every time. And I was literally like writing characters and coming up with these stupid like things that were like, I need to keep it entertaining and engrossing. I need to have like a different style of music that I'm going to do every time. Every time you turn in, it's going to be a different experience and everything like that. And boy, that got fucking tiring really quick. So I gave that up for me. And I don't do that much anymore. Occasionally I'll do that kind of thing.
Count 1, by the way. One so far.
Which one?
F-bombs, 1.
Oh, 1 F-bomb. Yay. Well,
Yeah.
well, I hope you got your tallies ready because it's not gonna stop. The following is not appropriate for anybody.
Did you say it's
one of the things
gonna fucking stop?
It's never gonna fucking stop.
Yes.
So interesting, Beta. You mentioned that like the interaction kind of thing. What I found is that I've gone back and I've played some shows outside of Twitch. I've actually gone and played in front of actual non-digital bit people, human beings even, and I missed the interaction that I had in Twitch. Because now it's like I'm playing and no one's talking to me. Mm-hmm. I'm on stage and people can't interact with me anymore. And I missed it. And it's just kind of like, and now it's just like I'm so used to being able to just be like, hey, what's going on, Venusberg, and all that kind of thing. And no problem. But now it's just kind of like everyone's like not talking to me. And like now I feel lonely when I'm playing. So it's just kind of weird. But yeah.
Shout outs are really awkward on stage also.
That's true. That's true. And people throwing their bits at you. People throwing their bits at you from in a live environment. It gets absolutely disgusting really quick because they're like fingers. And like it's just kind of gone are the days that panties were thrown at you.
I definitely never had anyone throw any of their bits at me when I was playing. That would be neat though.
And how did you? Well, IX already answered this question, but how did you, Beta, got to know the GSG?
The GSG. Okay, so I was streaming on Restream. Most of my audience was on Facebook, and I was also streaming to Twitch. I was also streaming to YouTube, but that was more like I just wanted to have a higher resolution stream somewhere and have an archive. So that's why I was doing that. It was in the Dallas Jammin' Facebook group. I just kind of like started posting some of my January 2021 stuff. And I wasn't even following the rules. I wasn't doing it every day. I was doing it like every 3 days. And I was doing like an hour stream and calling it January, which is, it's a loose interpretation. But I was like posting the links to Dallas Jammin' because everyone else was posting their links. And I happened to ask, like, hey, I'm doing this live. Does anyone know anyone else that streams on Twitch? And Dan, like, instantly, like a dog, just was like, yeah, we do. And from there on, the rest is history. Yeah, he just shepherded me in here, and a German shepherded me in here, and there you go.
Dan's good like that. Yeah, he's definitely the catalyst for many folks, especially the first couple years. Now it's all us. Now we're shoveling people in. You should stream. That's a great idea.
We were talking about the pandemic during the pre-talk. How did you guys manage to go through the pandemic? I know everyone got their own way. Some people learned karate, some people learned to bake, some people started streaming. What did you guys do?
I definitely just went headfirst into streaming and learning hardware synth devices. I suddenly had all this free time, and I was getting unemployment pay. I was getting a lot of unemployment pay, and I had a lot of money to spend on gear. So I did that. And I had a lot of time to spend on cultivating a cool stream, and I did that. And I had all these new friends to bounce ideas off of and to steal from covertly without their permission or knowledge. And it was really just a kind of a utopian existence for me for about a year and a half, I would say. Like, there was still like the dread of the virus and all that stuff. There was all that in the background, and you know, in the States, there was a lot of like racial tension and a lot of crazy stuff going on here as well. So I was following all that. So that was in the background, but mostly it was just about learning how to do what I do, and it really got me through. And the people around made it super pleasant, if not more so.
Can I inquire what does racial tension mean in that context?
Well, we had the George Floyd killing.
Right.
Do you recall anything about that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a big deal. Huge protests nationwide. Some of them turned violent, some of them turned ugly. And I will say protests are good. I will say I do not think that anything about that was a bad reaction. I think it was a good reaction. That's probably as far as I want to take the conversation of that. But
yeah, that's okay. When you started streaming, did you saw any streamer that really inspired you to do your thing, or was there someone that you saw and you got surprised about how they managed to resolve the trade?
Oh wait, did Ix answer that last question? Sorry.
Oh, I didn't survive the pandemic. I died.
Sorry. Yes, please. How did you manage to kill it?
I'm a computer-generated life form now.
Yeah, we know.
Transferred my consciousness into my computer.
But we respect you as a computer also.
Well, I appreciate that. Computers are people too. How did I survive the pandemic? I streamed a lot, like at least once a week, if not more. I was doing live music jams, and I was doing DJing, and I was doing a lot of these weird characters that I would do so that kept me busy and kept me somewhat sane. And then that was pretty much how I survived. And I wrote an album like right at the beginning of it that was very like angst filled and everything, and that helped too.
Can we talk to any of those characters?
Well, some of them were quiet the entire time, but I mean, it was mostly just like costuming and stuff like that.
Okay.
I did threaten to do the entire stream as the HR Dictator and just yell at you and call you and name you bad, terribly, and write you all up and everything, and that kind of thing. Reactor.
Do you have the Fez handy? Is the Fez?
I can hop off of here and I can put the costume on really quick and I can make everyone's lives annoying.
Why don't you answer the next question as him? And
why don't you answer the next question first, and I'll go and see if he's available. How about that?
Okay, please. Let's move on to the next question then. What happened? Yes, when you started streaming, I think a common ground for all of us that started streaming was first a little disbelief about the trade, and then seeing someone or seeing several people that really pull the thing off and going like, oh, you can be cool, you can do cool stuff. Did that happen to you, Beta? Did you saw someone that you got inspired by?
Yeah, well, on the music side, on the live synth side, Actitect stream was definitely the one that I was like, wow, this is, people are doing this, like, and I think that there is some sort of like philosophical similarity between what Actitech does and what I do in terms of like trying to do an entire mix completely live, completely improv, with actual musicianship, and try to make something, try to pull something out of nothing, pull something out of thin air. And then in terms of just Twitch streams, and most of these are musicians too, because I'm just big into music and I don't really care too much about gaming personally. But the Mama Joe Vramajo channel, shout out Mama Joe Vramajo. Let's see. There were a bunch of other great music streams at the time that I was getting into. But yeah, like the production of it, that's really what caught my eye about a lot of the streams that I was watching is so much thought going into cameras and green screen effects and overlays and different scenes and different concepts, like segments. Just really so much amazing creativity out there in the Twitch space, which is super impressive.
Nice. And I think
This place is terrible!
okay.
There is no creativity on Twitch. All it is people playing video games and whining to each other about whatever whiny things they want to whine about.
I already
My inspirations are me! That's all you need!
I already regret
And also
this
lots of snacks.
I totally regret my decision, but you're the guy from the emote of the server, right? The one
You
with the hat.
are fired.
But I wasn't
Oh,
hired.
no.
I will be doing the interviewing from now on, Kid Pinocchio.
I wasn't getting paid, though. I wasn't hired or anything.
You
I can have that.
kind of
I can have that. Yeah, go ahead, do the interview.
get into the reactor. You're done. You're all done. These headphones suck.
Wambra has cleaned the reactor recently.
Wambra has cleaned it with his tongue. I gave him 4 Skittles to do it. Do you know how difficult it is for him to, like, do anything without Skittles? I don't know why he likes Skittles so much. He just likes to taste the rainbow, I guess.
For those of you who don't know who you are, can I ask your name?
No!
I cannot. Okay.
But yeah, okay, you could go ahead. Yeah. And the HR Dictator. You may see me advertising the cards that the Golden Shrimp Guild put out.
Okay, and what's your backstory? Well, are you the dictator?
I'm the HR guy. What do you want? What HR guys have backstories?
You're a dictator.
I work in HR. I write you up. I fire you. What else do you need? The Golden Shrimp Guild clearly has employment problems.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that, but I thought you were the dictator from a country. Well, what do you
No, just the HR department. I don't want those kinds of jobs. What do I look like?
Okay.
Besides sexy.
Yeah. Do you want to take Actitech's spot?
Shut up! What's that?
I totally regret my request. Do you want to take Actitech's?
You will regret it.
Do you want to take Actitech's spot as the hot guy?
Don't need to take Actitech's spot. We can be hot guys together. Covered in oil.
I was promised Speedos in this interview.
And we have Speedos built for 2.
I was promised Speedos in this interview, and I do not see Speedos. I see pants.
Well, beta units, where's your Speedo?
It's out of frame. There's a terms of service. I hope I don't get fired for this, but yeah, I don't want to break terms of service of Twitch. It's bad enough. I'm barefoot right now. Like, that's bad enough. I gotta be careful. I'm on thin ice.
I'll service your terms.
Is that true? I heard that barefoots are forbidden in Twitch. Is that true?
Yeah, you can't show your bare feet. Yep.
What if I have bear's feet.
That's okay.
Oh, good. Yes. Wait.
But-
Shut up!
Well, what's the logic behind that? Is it because there are some people that have fetishes with feet, or what?
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
because
logic?
of perverts. Yeah, a lot of the terms of service of Twitch is basically just anti-pervert
Yes.
propaganda.
You perverts ruin it for
it's just-
everybody. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
get
it's
onto
pervert-
Twitch so I can look at feet, and you all ruin it for
Pervert
me.
shaming. It's all pervert shaming. Yeah, pretty much.
Pervs.
For those of you,
Wait, shut up!
for those of you that don't know what this is, I see.
I don't know what this is.
I'll explain.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I see. I am just Coke asking. This is GSG Talk. We usually get a couple of streams as guests, and we talk to them. We have the honor of having the Dictator. I forgot your full name. The Dictator.
The HR Dictator for the Golden Shrimp Guild, fool!
Okay. I'll just get that volume down, and and what we do here is we just have a little talk as to get to know our friends a little bit more. And of course, if any
Hello,
of you,
kitty cats.
if any of you have any questions for our guests, feel free to drop them on the chat. This is an open format. How many people have
Wrong
you
answers
fired?
will be punishable by death!
How many people have you fired, HR Dictator?
All of them.
How does that work economically? You fire everyone.
Well, mostly they just get thrown into a reactor to burn.
All right, but who
Keeps
works?
me warm.
But who works if you fire everyone?
Who works? Who works anymore? That's the whole problem with the world, isn't it? Nobody wants to go to work. We pay them by not putting them into the reactor, and then they just don't want to go to work. That's why it takes me 20 minutes to get tacos.
Yeah, that's right. DJ Doggy says he reminds me of the HR minions from Dilbert. Yeah. I guess HR people kind of have.
Ooh, shots fired. Oh man.
You're fired. Into the reactor.
I'm trying to get my head around this.
I hesitate to ask if Andrew is still out of frame somewhere.
He is trying to remove me from the situation because he says I'm being heated.
I don't blame him.
He's calling me a douche canoe.
For the sake of the interview, if Andrew wants to come back at any point so we can have a serious conversation, that would also be acceptable.
Fine. Fuck you.
Ooh, F-bomb count. 2.
No, that's 3 because you remember.
Oh, 3.
Yeah. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
There's no terms of.
No.
Even when he's far, it's loud. I don't know how that's accomplished.
Goes against everything.
Is swearing also forbidden on Twitch?
No. I'm just.
Jesus.
I'm just doing a bit.
No. I asked because what we were talking about earlier, that feet are forbidden, which is like too much for me to understand. I understand nipples, of course, are forbidden, but I
understand nipples.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I've never really understood nipples. Can you help me understand?
They feed the world. They're fun.
They're right.
Thank you.
They feed the world. They're the reason we develop.
Both
That's
very
right.
good points.
Yes.
2 good points there. Thanks.
But I don't know if male nipples are forbidden as well.
Should we find out?
I saw a DJ streaming with his shirt off. Where I live, on summer it gets very hot, so I definitely consider that. But your opponent, told me no. If you show your chest, you will get banned. So I don't know about that. Do you guys? know
Electrical
anything about
tape. Just put electrical tape, little X's over your nips, and you're fine.
that? No. I prefer.
Well, an
shirt.
I over one of them and an X over the other one, right?
That's right.
There you go.
Branding. Yes. Branding awareness
I like the way you think, my friend.
with your nipples.
Nipple branding.
Nipple branding.
Ouch.
Let's talk gear.
Don't Google that, please.
Too late.
This is too much of a good idea for us to be the ones that came up with it, of course. Let's talk gear. What gear? Well, let's start from the beginning. How would you describe your setup? Better?
Dang. I would call it a mid-sized, versatile live hardware jam rig. To try to do it in as few words as possible.
Can you walk us through the different technology that you use?
There's a lot going on. I'm going to change it at some point, but mostly it started with the Boss RC202 loop station and the Prophet Rev 2 synthesizer. And then I needed something to do drums. So I picked up a Volca Sample 2. And then I learned how to do MIDI sync. And then I ended up adding a sequencer, Arturia BeatStep Pro, and added a Novation circuit. So there's a lot of like small pieces that have like their own like special spot in the mix when I'm doing jams. I try to keep everything in its own sort of audio space. Like I try to pay close attention to frequencies and adjust like high pass and low pass and things like that to make sure everything kind of comes together. So it's basically like a synth loop alongside a couple different things doing drums and bass, basically, in a nutshell.
Okay. How about you, IX? What's your technology logistics?
Depends on the week. I do a lot of gear swapping out based upon what style I'm doing that day and stuff. Just because I have a lot of shit, literally and figuratively. I do a lot of things with the Deluge because I'm a big Deluge whore. I love that thing to death because it just does everything that I want to do. I will do streams outside my backyard with that and just like open up the microphone and turn it into an oscillator and do ambient music with it, that kind of stuff. I'll do a lot of stuff with Electron gear. Got a bunch of it hanging out back here. But it's pretty much like whatever style I'm feeling at the time. And then more recently, my partner Stasha, Miss Morte, will do live poetry while I'm jamming and stuff like that. So I have her running through a bunch of effects units and stuff like that. And those are a bunch of the old, like the Mo effects and the Fab filter and those kinds of guys. And then some old Korg effects processor that someone gave me. And just run it through all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I'm kind of gear agnostic, and I just grab whatever feels good at the time and what I want to play with and what I want to explore. And most of my Twitch streams anymore are just that. They're just kind of like, wonder what this does, and then I'll play it for a while.
Can we have your partner's handle so we can give her a shout out?
Yeah, she's not. She is on Twitch actually. It is Miss Morte. I think it's MSMORTE. I think I can do it right here.
Yeah, if you can.
I'm actually up. There you go. Oh, the shout out didn't work. I thought I was an admin on this channel. This is garbage.
But because those sort of shout outs, you have to configure them in a special way with
that's right.
elements. But
well, I'm just going to go ahead and report myself.
It also says that channel doesn't exist, so it must be spelled differently or something.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Oh, well.
I don't think she really has a channel. She just does stuff with me. She has an account on here, but she just
okay.
that.
Okay. I thought she had her own thing going. Cool.
No, she does have a Facebook though, where she posts a lot of her stuff and everything like that.
Oh, if you want to plug that, feel free to drop it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I mean, I have to.
The Deluge is a piece of equipment that I saw many people use it. I've seen some tutorials on it, but I don't quite get It's like I understand it's a completely DAW-less equipment, and you can create music with it. But do you have it at hand, by any chance?
I can grab it real quick. Yeah, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
There are so many GSG members that have deluges that we have done a special event with Synthstrom. We had a thing where everybody did, I think it was like a 20-minute deluge jam, and uploaded it to Synthstrom's YouTube channel, and they ran it as like a whole day or night or both of programming on their YouTube. Mm-hmm. So they love us. They really love us over there.
Yeah, we are big fans. A lot of us are. So this is the deluge. Or many like it, but this one's mine.
Right.
Not very big. It is a sampler. It is a sequencer. It is a synthesizer. It is a live looper. It is an effects box. It is a controller, and it all does it. It does it all. Master of none, however. So everything it does is perfectly adequate.
Is it hard to learn to use? Because I see it doesn't have a lot of knobs, so configuration must be very cross-faded.
It's pretty easy to start with, and then it as you get into it, there's more complexities and the like as far as that's concerned. But generally, what I find is that this thing where it's like when you take it out of the box, don't read the manual, just play with it for 2 hours, and then like send us what you did. This is what one of the things that was on one of their forums for the longest time, and people would just go in and explore it. I see that Weird as Dead is asking about how it compares with MPCs. I found this was a lot more intuitive to use than an MPC. I also have an MPC one, and I use that for things. MPCs have a much higher quality sample playback and everything like that. This thing also doesn't get as chunky as the MPC does when you're using synth plugins.
Okay. How do you guys prepare for your streams? Do you have a plan, or do you improvise everything? How do you prepare for a musical stream?
Well, once all the gear's turned on and synced right, and the cameras are on and the lights are on, I usually allow myself about 10 or 15 minutes to develop a groove off stream before I start. It takes a little bit of time just to like set things up, just to get some things together that sound good. I'm a really good improviser, but I improvise best when there's material to jam off of. I'm not very good at like starting from a cold start and coming up with a full mix of all kinds of elements at the same time. So I like to take like a nice 10 or 15 minutes to come up with the first groove, and then from there I'm usually good. I can play around with mixing that around and remixing it and jamming over it on the keyboards for like 10 or 15 minutes once the stream starts, and then begin to slowly bring new elements in, play new elements and loop those and program those and whatever.
I believe that's a common practice. I think Actited responded the same, and I think Toto also responded the same, that they start music before streaming just to get a warm-up, and then hop on and turn on the camera. So there's a little tip for everyone that's watching that doesn't know how to start a stream. How about you, IX?
I usually start with any kind of like the visual stuff that I'll need. If there's any particular theme that we're doing, like Safety Fest or Pride or anything like that, I'll load up the graphics for that kind of thing, and then I just kind of go based on how I feel and my mood, I guess. And I'll do a little bit of pre-gaming. It's usually just like a couple of beats and a bass line or something like that, and just kind of get an idea about what key I want to play in, and then I just kind of go from there. So I'll usually spend like about a half hour, like the day before, putting something together, and then the day of I'll just kind of listen to it and see if I still like it or not, and 30% of the time I do. So
yeah, that happens a lot, right? Like the perspective of the one that is doing the music is way off from the real thing. If you listen to what you did like a week after, you will perceive something completely different. There has been a bunch of times I've done something and I go like, wow, this is awesome. And then I listen to it and it was okay. Or the other way around.
Sometimes I'll have a bug up my ass and I have to do something. Like for a while I kept on putting in the wrong time to start my streams when we were doing during synthons in the past, where I would put myself down for 1 p.m., but it was 1 p.m. Actitech time, which is 7 o'clock in the morning my time. So I would end up like, well, since I fucked up there, I'm just going to make a theme out of that. So there was one stream where I was making breakfast while I was making music. And every time I sipped coffee, the BPM would get faster. And it started at like 70 BPM. By the time we were done, it was like 250 BPM. And it was like a giant stack of bacon and pancakes sitting next to the synthesizers and stuff.
That's still available on your YouTube, right? You can still watch
I think
that.
it is. Yeah, yeah. And then there's the other one was the one where I had the alarm clock that woke me up. And then that ended up being a sample that turned into part of the song. And I had like the little like nightcap and that kind of thing. And I, woke up with that and started noodling. And so I'll come up with something stupid sometimes. I'm like, I have to do this, Weird as Dead said I should try a generative set at like 30 beats per minute. Well, that's my Christmas tradition, Weird as Dead. Every Christmas I do, Christmas season, I do the Carol of the Krell, where it's just like a very slow, drony Krell patch for 72 hours straight.
But 30 is too slow. 30 is unbearable.
The deluge you can crank it down to like 0.005 BPMs, and then you can crank it up to over 1,000 BPM.
But how does that work? 0.005, that's like a minute.
It's like every couple minutes it'll play the next note.
Somehow that feels like cheating, but I can't provide a logical answer.
Well, they I think the BPM thing is tied because there's there's like a what do they call it on here? If there's a specific effect, you can the stutter effect on here. You can grind it up and down. I think it utilizes that BPM speed insanity that you can do on this thing. We have Crash Mini synthesizers playing with that though.
Okay. Something that everyone wants to know, because they keep asking about it, is the backstory of the names we use for our streams. So what's a beta unit? Beta units?
Beta units comes from, so first of all, beta units has existed for many, many years before this iteration, before the streaming, before Twitch, before all this. It was an Ableton electronic music project that I had with a former partner of mine, and the name is from the movie The Last Starfighter. It just kind of sounded cool. In the movie, the beta unit is a simuloid. It's sort of like a half human, half robot sort of replacement for the guy Alex, who goes off to fight space battles. They need to like kind of hide that from his family and from everyone that he encounters in his real life for some reason, as a plot device. So there's this creature thing that takes over his life for him, and that is the beta unit. And so I thought that was cool. I thought that sounded cool. And by the way, it was way before people started calling everybody betas as an insult. Like, this is not my statement on toxic masculinity or anything like that. It's way before that. Just to clarify.
I'm not familiar with I'm familiar with the alpha, but how does that insult work? What's a beta in that context?
Oh, it's basically just like Joe Rogan podcast listeners that decide to insult people by claiming that they are alphas, and so are, all these other people are betas, and that's lesser than people, And it has nothing to do with my Twitch name.
Beta units are badass. They kill Zandozans. That's all I got to say about that.
See, you know what's up.
Yeah, it also makes sense because we use so much technology in our streams that we can be considered half man, half robot. So it makes sense in that way. How about you, IX? What's an IX?
Well, you're mispronouncing it, so that helps.
Oh, is that an F?
Everybody does. It's fine. That's fine. It's X. X Studios. So that's actually the name of the record label that I started. Okay. My name is not X Studios, really. It's Andrew. The idea originally was that the people that were on the record label could use it to stream with. Was that people were all going to use that stream channel to stream their music, but it never ended up being the thing, and I'm too lazy to change it at this point.
Right.
But X Studios, it came from the fact that I have a whole lot of shit in this room, and it's a lot of music gear and stuff like that. And much like Beta Units, mine's from the pivotal 1980s science fiction film Dune, when the Third Stage Guild Navigator states that there are many machines on X. And so X Studio Chicago, whose real name is Justin, is he came up with that because we have a whole bunch of music gear and everything like that. But it is the record label that we started. And DJ Doey says, "You mean it isn't 9?" I'm like, well, you need to talk to Frank Herbert about that because X is the 9th planet of the solar system that they're in. So maybe it was originally supposed to be 9, but it became X. So it's X Studios, which is xstudios.net, which has many of your fine best friends on there. Myself and Total Robbins on that label, and Information Trays on that label, and Ghost Units is on that label. Everybody. Ghost Units.
Can we plug a web page where we can see
that? That's a collab that we haven't started yet, is Ghost Units.
I know, right? That's going to be you and Jeff. Ghost Units.
Nice. That's an idea that, we were talking about impressions that we have when we first start watching Twitch. That was my first impression. Like, why is everyone doing this on their own? And why aren't there more channels that group people if what channels are all about is constant content? Why do you guys know why, or do you suppose why people go their own way individualistically and not grouply?
I suspect there's a slight element of social anxiety. Honestly, like most of the music streamers on Twitch that I know of started during the pandemic, and everyone was very isolated at the time. And for me, as like an introvert, that was ideal, honestly. I had a couple of irons in the fire, so to speak, about like real life collaborations in the city that I was living in at the time. And none of them really panned out, and working on my own was a great way to just take complete control, utilize my skills, and teach myself how to do things, and have a product that was completely my own and something that I could enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, I love collaborating with people, and pre-pandemic, I would have guests on and we would jam for like an hour, and then I'd, talk to them about what their music stuff was and everything. And then mid-pandemic, when numbers looked decent for a while, Information Tray, who lives 20 minutes from me, came over and we jammed together for a bit. But for me, it's mostly just physical distance. Most of the folks are, on the guild are, hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from me. If not tens of thousands of miles away from me. So like, I'd love to collab with Beta Units, but he's, he doesn't talk. He doesn't leave his area. So he hates me. See, he just left. He literally just got up and walked away.
He got real offended by that
he
question.
did. So he's like, fuck this, I'm done. So for me, it's mostly physical distance. But at the same time, like when a bunch of us meet together at like NobCon, we will do jams together. A bunch of us will cram into like your opponent's room or Doey's room or something like that, and we'll do a jam together and we'll shoot up online. So I think that there's definitely a lot of room for collaboration, but
you can't shoot up online also, by the way. That's terms of service too.
I'm shooting up through my feet and nipples. Thank you very much.
They don't like it when you do that.
But yeah, I think so. I mean, and as far as like online thing, it's mostly just bandwidth issues, right? Because you can't do real time very well. So
yeah, it's impossible to get a low latency scenario collaborating on Twitch, right? I'm trying to look up
Exactly. So, but I think that, for me, it's just mostly physical distance. I would love to do more collaborations and stuff like that. And, I do like X Studio Chicago, and he used to live here as well. And we would, we learned how to use all the Electron gear by starting an improv band and playing concerts with just Electron gear. And so now we collaborate online. So he'll send me stuff and I'll add to it and things. So we've done a couple of projects like that.
Nice.
But not in real time. And that's the part I miss the most, is working in real time with folks.
Fantastic Rectangle says we can use Jamtaba, which is a software for collaborating online. I've heard about it, did not use it. And Marina says she banned Jamtaba. I don't really know what she means, but she can explain it to us. Folks, if you like what you are hearing, if you like the show, remember that we are putting this together on the GSG Discord, on the channel that is called GSG Talk, Crustacean Talk House or something like that. Please drop in and give us your feedback. And if you want to be a part of this, you can also hop in there, drop a message or whatever. This is as many of maybe all the shrimp projects. This is an open platform, so it's for all of us to create.
You just got to pay Kid Pochoclo about 20 euros. Pretty cheap.
Yeah, but what's 20 euros nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. It's
why
like
euros?
It's a burger.
Why euros?
Why euros? I don't know, because there's more euro people take euros than. I mean, if you want dollars, I can do that, but it'll be Canadian dollars.
Oh, I thought you said euros, like the Greek sandwich.
Like the Greek sandwich. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go get euros. Come on.
I will do almost anything for 20 euros, dude.
Shit, right? God.
I will do things that violate terms of service.
I will violate your terms of service for 20 euros.
Churros. The Bubblegum Nihilist asks if churros can be. Yes.
Churros is fine too. I'm a big fan of churros, so yeah.
Yes. You're in Canada. It's IX? X?
No, I'm not. X. No, I'm where I am in the United States is I'm right. The Canada's right on the other side of the lake from me.
Okay.
So it's about 30 miles north of me.
Have you guys ever?
I go there often.
Have you guys ever had a weird experience on a stream? Has something really weird ever happened to you in a stream? I think I've hit a soft spot.
The weirdest thing that ever happened to me on stream was I decided not to stop streaming for like 7 hours.
Okay.
That happened just one time. It was just the weird fluke. I was like, I had just changed a few things about how my rig was set up, and I was excited about learning how to do some things that I had in my head. And I had a really great chat audience going after about hour 2, which was like when I was planning on ending. And they just like kept me entertained, and I entertained myself, and I learned a lot about my rig, and I think I got like so much better in that 7 hours of just immersing myself in playing. But that was really weird and really unique, because that hasn't happened since. Mm-hmm. I haven't felt inspired like that since. Not that I'm not inspired when I play, but nothing's really driven me to forego almost 2 meals in order to just stream. So yeah, that was the weirdest thing for me.
That's also part of the logic of Twitch, right? Like you just keep doing the same thing, and every once in a while something very special happens, right? That's part of the game. How about you, X? What's your weirdest or your weird
The
experience?
fact that people tune in and watch once in a while. I think that's. I mean, I just think that to me the weirdest thing about the weirdest thing happened to me on Twitch is just getting onto Twitch. This is such like a unfamiliar platform in my world, and I'm just like I don't understand 90% of what the hell happens on this thing. And the fact that I'll do
we're old as fuck, so that's why.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Damn kids, get off my lawn! Yeah. I should do that one of these days. I'll do the character of the old man and just yell at people. I just did that.
The classic old guy. I'm an old guy as well. The classic old guy thing to say is, why would people want to see someone play a game? That's
well, and I wonder about that, but it's also like I wonder why people want to sit there and watch me make music, and then then I find that I watch them make music and stuff like that, and I really like doing that. I love watching, all of the people that are in the guild create. And the cool thing about Twitch, I think, is that we get this bird's eye view into how people do things, because a lot of people will point their cameras at the gear. When you're playing a concert, it just looks like you're standing behind a box and you have no idea what they're doing unless you have like balcony seats or something. And so I think that that's just a really cool thing, because then you can see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and stuff like that. And then that helps you not only understand their process, but understand your own too.
The question was referring to your streams.
My weirdest thing is the fact that people, is that people will do the same thing for me. Right.
And so that gives me a follow-up question. What's the weirdest thing you've seen on Twitch? I know I have an answer to that. The weirdest thing I saw on Twitch was a person that was impersonating a girlfriend. So this person would get the camera and would talk to the camera as if they were the viewer's girlfriend. And it was super popular, and it was super bizarre, and it was kind of sad also. But that's the weirdest thing I saw on Twitch. How about you?
That's troubling.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say in that sort of genre, that's like the weirdest stuff that I've seen on Twitch is strange, like semi-sexual streams where like people try to like skirt those terms of service in order to sort of show parts of body parts and do strange ASMR, like sexy things to the microphone to try to like get a whole bunch of money from thirsty kids, I guess, basically. That's the weirdest stuff I've seen. For sure.
I like how you said,
and it still happens.
I like how you said thirsty as a metaphor, right?
Oh yeah, that's a term in these parts.
Did you ever saw something really weird, X?
I mean, I want to hang out in these weird red light districts of Twitch that Beta Units clearly hangs out at, because I want to see that kind of weird shit.
I admit to nothing,
but you kind of did in the end.
There's nothing to be ashamed
of. I've gotten up to refill my water because I've been thirsty, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that, I mean, I live for finding weird shit on Twitch, and so, I mean, I've watched interpretive dance and stuff like that. I think the weirdest thing was there's this DJ guy, I can't remember, he disappeared unfortunately, but he did this like absolute batshit insane DJ show, and it's all like green screen and stuff like that, and he's really, really tiny in this thing, and he's in this giant room with these robots dancing and shit like that, and they're all like CG, bad CG as well. And I think we like when I was on Dan Kushner's show, we raided over to it one night because like we have to see what this is about, and it was just fucking nuts. And I mean, it was just like beyond Thunderdome. We're just like, what is going on? This guy isn't even really, I think he was just dancing around. I don't even think he was really DJing. I think that DJing was just, just something playing back in the background. But it was batshit insane. I can't even explain it. That's how horribly bad it was and good.
Taking away the DJing out of that anecdote makes it so much better.
Yeah, it was just dancing around with the in a green screen with giant robots, and that was like 2 hours of that, and it was just I loved it.
Ooh, hey, time check. I think it's about raid time. Wow, that went by so fast.
Yes,
I know.
Yes. I
didn't even tell anybody my favorite foods.
I was just about to do that. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Beta. Thank you, X, and thanks to the Dictator for joining us today. Would you like to plug your streams before we go? Do you have a schedule? Do you have anything you want to promote?
I have no schedule. I will be streaming a lot more beginning next week. A lot more than normal. So, and earlier hours than normal too. So, come by, hang out.
Excellent.
Say hey.
I'll be on Wednesday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern time for our bi-weekly show, the only show on the internet, period, called Tangents, where we talk about music gear and go off on other tangents and stuff and end up talking about something stupid. And we probably will offend you by calling your DJ controller a fleshlight or something.
Is that
hang out.
Is that something that you've been doing for a long time, X?
Yeah, we've been doing it for like 2 years now. Jesus, old.
Nice. No, that's good. It means it's well oiled.
It is so lubricated. It's not even funny. Dripping with jelly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he keeps it greasy over there for sure.
You really do.
Well, thank you everyone. Thanks to our guests, and we'll see you next time.